Hey y'all, it's Betsy I am starting my second channel today. So I figured today would kind of be a fun little tutorial if I went over my winter dry skin routine with you. Typically I have oily skin. Now around here where we live in the South, whenever it gets super cold, which it doesn't happen too often, like right now it's about 30 degrees outside, which is not something normal for us, and we have the heat running, my skin dries out like nobody's business. I'm not sure if anybody else goes through this problem as well, but because of this I figured it would be fun to kind of go over my routine of how I deal with my skin getting dry, because this is not my normal foundation routine or anything like that. So first thing I typically do is, this is the Too Faced Hangover Primer. This is one of the small sample sizes because it takes me a while to go through it, but it's a nice moisturizing primer. And I just apply this all over my skin because I don't like to have that heavy feeling. Because if you can tell on the video, my skin is so dry and it makes the pinkness of my cheeks stand out and all that fun kind of stuff. So typically I like to use the Hangover Primer. It has coconut water, it's got a lot of things in it that help moisturize and revive your skin. And then typically instead of like a full coverage foundation, I like to use the It Cosmetics. This is the CC Cream in medium. This is a good foundation, which it's still pretty full coverage, but it has the benefits of the It Cosmetics, what is that stuff called? Their cream that they use, their moisturizer. But it has all that in there. And I just put a little bit on my beauty blender and then blend it all into my skin. I like to have a dewier finish because, and I don't set a lot of this with powder either. And I typically, and my brows are all kinds of funky. But as you can see, it covers almost everything. Don't forget to blend down your neck. Now, I'm not used to doing beauty videos. I've gotten asked a ton on my other channel since I do crafting to show how I do my makeup and stuff like that. And I was going to actually do a palette declutter as my first video, but I figured that this would be kind of a good introduction to my skin type and things like that. I have a good traditional medium skin tone with olive undertones. Sometimes it can be on the fair side, especially at this time of year when I'm not getting sun. And this has SPF in it as well. But as you can see, it has a good finish and it covers everything, so you can't see all the redness and splotchiness. That's one of my favorite CC creams. Like if I'm going for a non-makeup look or I'm going to do something with the family, I use that a lot. And then I have my Born This Way concealer. This is the color. It doesn't have, rub the sticker off the bottom. I use this all the time though. So I like to use this under my eyes, and I don't pack on a ton of concealer. My eyebrows need to get rethreaded, but I am trying to grow them out so I can change the shape of it a little bit. I feel like I've been stuck in the past and I would like to try a fuller, bolder brow. So there we go. Now I'm going to take the flat edge of my beauty blender to blend out on my chin, the highlighty areas. My lips are so dry. And at this time of year, I love my liquid matte lipsticks and liquid lipsticks in general, but this time of year I'm not big on using them. So there we go. Just a light coat, and I will set under my eyes, but I'm not setting the rest of my face because when your skin's dry, or at least for mine this time of year, it will sink into those fine lines. I'm 34 years old. I take good care of my skin, but I haven't had like Botox or anything like that. So this is just how my skin has naturally aged. So, and then this is the Hoola Quickie Contour Stick. It's just the regular Hoola color. I use this to help add a little bit of warmth around the perimeter of my face. I don't know if you can tell I'm a little bit nervous, but I was nervous when I started my other channel, and it's gotten better, so hopefully this one will too. See, and I don't like a drastic nose contour. I like to just give it a tiny bit of definition, but nothing major. And I do contour in a heavier face of makeup on days that I'm on camera. I wear a lot of eyeshadows in general, but I don't always wear contour and all that on a regular day. Move my hair out of the way. So the people who already follow me and are looking at my new channel, hopefully, I did change my hair color. I changed it to burgundy. I keep hearing that the 90s are coming back, and when I was in high school, I had hair like this, and I used to love the color, but then I quit doing it because it looked dated. Well, since the 90s are coming back, figured try something old but new. So I am using, this is the RCMA No Color Powder to set under my eyes. I put it in my Kat Von D Lock-It powder container because I ran out of the other, and this is a whole lot easier to dip into than the jar that the RCMA powder comes in. And typically whenever I set a light layer, and I'm not trying to go like full on baking because that will just make your skin look drier. But I will take and set in my smile lines as well, around my nose where I get some creasing, and then right here in the center of my forehead because I do this face a lot. So that helps keep the makeup from creasing in those areas. But it also helps brighten up the under eye, and I like to make sure it's good and blended in so that way it's not going to settle in those fine lines. So now we're getting to the fun stuff. Typically next I do my eyes, and I use my matte soft ochre paint pot as my base, and I just use my finger to apply that all over my lid. There we go. And I have two separate palettes that I'm using today because we went to the Galleria in Houston this Sunday, and I went to Sephora there because in Beaumont we have Park Del Mall, and we have like the Sephora mini store in there, but it's not as good as the real thing. So now what I'm going to do is, this is a Sonia Kashuk. It's just a big flat firm brush. I will take and dip that into my translucent powder to set the pink pot, so that way I have an easy way to blend my shadows all over my lid. And I like a nice firm brush so that way I can, if I have any creasing, because I do have hooded eyes, I can help brush them out. So there we go. Now to start off with eyes, I have the Too Faced Clover palette. Now I know a lot of people don't like this, but I do love the color payoff on this, and it works beautifully. Typically I will use the color Chihuahua, which is this, it's almost my skin color right here, as a kind of all over to lay down a base. And today we're not going to go too dramatic with eyes. We're still going to have some fun with it though. So now what I'm going to do is I'm just taking a Japanese, however you say that, blending brush. I have so many brushes and I was trying to find some that were clean this morning so I could do that. And I'm going to take the color Fur Baby and use it, which is this little bit deeper shade. And I'm just going to take and dip into that. And I'm going to use that as my transition shade. Now I'm used to doing, I did one makeup tutorial which I set to private because it was in my bathroom and you couldn't really see what I was doing and I kept looking down. So I'm trying to learn a little bit more about this. But see how nice, and that has a little bit more depth to it. Now what I'm going to do is I have a Morphe M507, which is just a smaller crease brush, and I'm going to go into the color, I think we're going to do Daddy's Loves Me, which is like this magenta maroony kind of color. And we're just going to take and kind of focus that on the outer edge and deepen up the outer crease. So. That looks pretty. Now I'm going to take that same Japanese brush that I took and soften up the edges of that color. There we go. And while I was at the Sephora, I purchased some new lashes and stuff like that, but I'm not doing lashes today. But about the ColourPop Golden State of Mind, which I just adore these shimmers, and they're all shimmers. So what I think I'm going to do is this color Unsupervised, which is almost like a rose gold. And I'm going to take, where's my flat brush? That's not it. Here we go. My MAC 248. And I'm going to take my Fix Plus, which I'm running low on. And I like to spray it before I dip in. There we go. And I'm going to take and apply that color all over the lid, because I like to have some shimmer. And you can use your finger or a dry brush, but I like the impact that a wet brush has when applying. There we go. And this is more of a quick tutorial. Like, this is almost like an everyday kind of get ready to run out the door. If I have somewhere to go and people to see, but I don't have to be on camera all day, this is the kind of look that I go for. Okay, so make sure those edges are smooth, but there you go. You can see the look that I'm going for. And I'm blind in my right eye, and I cannot see out of it like at all. So I don't really apply liquid or pencil eyeliner. What I like to do is take an angled brush, and I'm gonna use the color Cuddle Buddy and dip into line my eyes, because I feel like I have a little bit more control whenever I'm using a brush versus, and just to kind of give it a little bit more depth. But I'm not sure if you can tell how just that little bit adds a little bit more depth to your eyes. There we go. But we didn't get to go bring the kids to see the zoo lights because the weather was 30 degrees at night. And I'm taking that same Cuddle Buddy color and running it underneath almost in my waterline. Really keeping it tight in there. There you go. And I typically wait to do mascara till after I use my Fix Plus because I have watery eyes in general. So now I'm just taking my It Cosmetics. And I bought this when they were 50% off, and I actually really like this tiny little pencil that's on here. That's the Brow Power, and it is a universal color. It's like universal taupe. And just going and slightly filling in my brows. And I feel like this is a little bit more nerve-wracking than like when I typically do my makeup. Like when you feel like people are watching you, it's a little bit different. But I get asked it all the time, and I love makeup in general. Like I have a huge collection, and typically once I fill them in, I take and rebrush them so that way they don't look so harsh. I don't like perfect brows, I guess. Like I'm not into the Instagram brow thing. Maybe it's because I don't know how to do it. But this is typically the kind of look I like to go for. So I'm going to take that same MAC 242 brush. I'm using my color switch from Sephora by Vera Mona. And I'm going to take this white highlight shade called Girlfriend. And this time I'm not taking it wet so I can highlight my inner corner. And this almost has like a pink duochrome reflect in it. And I'm going to take and highlight the brow bone just a little bit. And then typically once I take and highlight, I use that same brush that I used for my all over transition and kind of smooth it out where it's not like a blinding white highlight on my face. But so far the ColourPop, like I like the ColourPop shadows. Now I do have some high-end stuff that makes me a little bit happier, but you know, for the price of it, you can't beat it. Now what I'm going to go ahead and do is deepen up my contour a little bit, and I'm using the Morphe M530. And I have the Too Faced Cocoa Contour Kit. And I use this color Medium Cocoa. Works great as just a light wash of color. See, it's nothing too drastic. Just to kind of chisel out the cheekbones a little bit. And I'm kind of foggy today. We started on New Year's, you know, our New Year's resolution is me and my husband want to get healthier and lose a little bit of weight. And it's not that I'm huge or anything like that. It's just I want to be healthier. So we started the keto diet. So no carbs. It's mainly the Coke because I love me a big typically in the mornings I stop and get not a Route 44, a large cherry vanilla Coke from Sonic when they're half price, and I don't have it, so it's like caffeine withdrawals. So I'm going to apply my brush, and this is with the ColourPop My Little Pony, because I ordered the set that came with all the My Little Pony stuff because I love My Little Pony. This is one of my favorites from when I grew up, and I was like, it's nostalgic. And I'm using the NARS Orgasm Blush. This is probably one of the best pinky shades that will work on almost any skin tone. And just apply that to my cheeks. There we go. So, nothing major. Now what I'm going to do is I have my Japanese smudger brush, and I'm going to go back into that color Fur Baby. And I'm going to soften up under my eyes to kind of blend out that deeper Cuddle Buddy color. And I run it only about halfway or so into my eyes. Like, I don't like to go all, as I said, I've got tiny eyes, so I don't like to go too far into it. And for highlight today, I have the Anastasia Glow Kit, the Sugar Glow Kit, and I'm going to use the color Starburst, this pinky shade. I'm in love with this color. And I have my Morphe M510. And I just like to take and apply that just to the cheekbone area. Tiny bit what's left over on the brush on the nose, and a little bit on the Cupid's bow. I don't want to look like Rudolph and have like a big blinding highlight on my nose. I feel like I'm a little bit too old for that. So now what I'm going to do is take and use my MAC Fix Plus to set my face, but this also helps melt all that powder into the skin, so that way it doesn't have a chance to really settle into the lines. I apply generously, and then I typically take like a palette to dry off my skin. So there we go. Oh. Now, I'm going to use for lips today the Hug Me by MAC. It's just a nice nude lip color. As I said, I like to use a standard lipstick or lip balm during this time of year. So now what I'm going to do, my eyelash curler, this thing's seen better days, but if it works, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. I mean, I've had this thing for years, probably 10 years or so. And I'm gonna go ahead and curl my lashes. And then I really like the brush on the Troublemaker mascara on like the L'Oreal Lash Paradise. I like that mascara, but it dries out so quickly. And this, I like the spiky brush. Like, I feel like it gives me color without being too crazy. There we go. Okay. So that's about it. That's a standard, basic, everyday makeup look. So tell me what you think in the comments down below. And if you want to see me do a eyeshadow palette declutter, I typically try to do one about once every 6 months because I have a little bit of an eyeshadow problem. I have way too many palettes. And there's a lot of them that I love, but they don't get enough use because there's ones that I love more. So if you're wanting to see that, give me a big thumbs up and leave me an emoji of any one that you want to use down in the comments below. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. I will try to link, I have Facebook and Instagram and all that set up for my cutting corners. So I will try to set up new accounts for those. But as of right now, just don't forget to hit that little subscribe button down below and the little bell notification icon next to it. And I am going to be trying to upload new videos on this channel as well on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. So hopefully y'all like it. See y'all later.